What's up, YouTube? This is Giant Jigglypuff 3 here, and every character in Overwatch Stadium for Season 3 got some kind of like rework or revamp or some kind of like buff. In Junker Queen's case, they buffed up her Jagged Blade builds. They didn't nerf one of her Carnage builds, but we'll get to that later. I do want to also mention that the UI slightly changed. So for Queen, the Carnage perks are now in the right middle, and then not perks, sorry, my bad, powers, and the shout ones are now in the bottom left. Merciless Magnetism changed its icon from shout to Jagged Blade, but they kept the shout icon, which is kind of weird, but what am I? I'm not a game designer or whatever, I don't know. Anyway, moving on to the actual changes. Thrill of Battle did not change. Royal Bolts did not change. Twist the Knife did not change. Blade Parade is where the first change happens. So, holding Jagged Blade charges it, increasing its damage up to 75% and projectile speed up to 200%. Now, if you played the first season of Stadium, you might remember that Blade Parade actually did have that projectile speed change, but they didn't have it in the description. I guess they shadow patched it out. So, there you go. It goes basically straight, and now you can actually see on the right when it's fully charged, so you can just toss it, or you can hold it for that extra bit of time. I think it's pretty nice. Moving on to Cut 'em Up Gracie. Each enemy hit with Jagged Blade reduces its cooldown by 1 second. When recalling Jagged Blade, its radius is increased by 100% and deals 40 ability impact damage. I think this one's actually bugged. Or like maybe they just changed the description but didn't actually nerf it. Because I remember last season it was 2 seconds, right? But watch this. So I got it on the recall. You'll see that the timer said cooldown was at 6 seconds, right? Now if I do Cut 'em Up Gracie and do the same thing, it instantly went to 4 seconds. As if it got reduced by 2 seconds. So if you were to hit like the two of these guys, this is like such a short cooldown now. So I think they're going to patch this. Go ahead and abuse it while you can. But keep in mind that the 40 ability power impact damage is only when you get it on the recall. So let me actually like just show that off real quick. No extra damage, but you got the extra damage there. So moving on to Merciless Magnetism. This one got completely reworked. Again, I don't like the shout icon, but we're moving on. Jagged Blade can crit for 50% bonus damage, and then the pull strength in general got buffed. So you can get 50% pull increase or 100% pull increase when you get a headshot. So if I were just to land a bottom shot, you'll see that it does the normal damage. Right, but now if I get a headshot, it does extra damage. So, moving on, Chop Chop did not get buffed, or no, didn't get changed. Soaring Stone didn't get changed. Let's Go Win got slightly buffed with the Jagged Blade cooldown reduction also occurring. I don't know how amazing this one's gonna be because Jagged Blade's cooldown's already like 6 seconds and it takes like 1 second to throw and come back. And then you also have Cut 'em Up Gracie, which I think just does the job better. So don't know how impactful that's gonna be, but it's a good change, I guess. Moving on. Reckoner's Roar did not get changed. Blood Craze did not get changed. Bow Down got incredibly buffed. While casting Rampage, become unstoppable and reset all ability cooldowns. Rampage knocks down for enemies for 2 seconds. So this was a major perk in base game, and they just added it on top of Bow Down, which was like, you know, Reinhardt's Earth Shatter basically. So I will point out as well that if I go to gadgets and I go to like, let's do like Necrotic Repellent. If I were to shout, do that, all that. I don't have my ult, right? Whatever. Everything else got reset, not my gadget. So you cannot reset your gadgets with this power. So just a heads up on that guy. The other changes are 2 item changes. Tinkerer Tracksuit used to say that whenever you use Carnage or Rampage, you gain attack speed. They just completely scrapped that. They just said, hey, whenever you get a Jagged Blade, Rampage, or Carnage hit, grant 20% ability power. So I want to show off how interesting this one is. So let me go ahead and kill these guys just so that they're at full health. So if I were to land a regular body shot, right, you're going to see that it does 95 damage. If I were to add Tinker's Tracksuit, you'll see that it is 101 damage. Now, this 101 damage is an increase of the wound damage, not of the impact damage. In order to also get the impact damage buffed, or bonus, you also have to land a hit to begin with. So watch this now. You'll see that it now says 114, right? So let me just show off that this says Jagged Blade hit. If I get a melee and then hit him, it will still do the 114 bonus. So this also triggers from melee. Don't know if that's intentional, but feel free to abuse that while it's still a thing. And then for survival, Thick Skull got both buffed and nerfed. While casting Jagged Blade, Rampage, or Carnage, gain 30% damage reduction. They added Jagged Blade, but they reduced the damage reduction from 75% to 30%. So I'm so sorry for the chop builds that are like, I'm just gonna be immortal. But what this does go nicely with Blade Parade though. Let me actually show off what I mean by that. Let me actually not take that damage. There we go. So this is at full health. I went to 415. Also, they changed this health pack icon, which it might need to take some time to get used to, but it's chill. Oh, I guess the self regen just did it. But yeah, notice how I went to 474 instead. So that's a damage reduction throughout the entire Blade Parade. So in terms of fun builds you can do, I did notice that Blade Parade, Merciless Magnetism, notice how I don't have any items on here? This does a ton of damage from whatever distance you want. So I'm at 40 meters, right? I'm gonna like aim slightly above this guy's head. That essentially killed the bot, right? So yeah, no items on. Imagine if you had any kind of ability power on here, that would one-shot squishies. Now, are you going to land a headshot from 40 meters away? Probably not, but Blade Parade makes it so much easier. And then you can also like start the charge up around a corner. So like if you're like right next to someone, you can get a headshot. Winston should be really easy to hit. Maybe like Navi's in his bubble, but you can charge it while walking into his bubble. So keep that in mind. There is technically synergy between Cut 'em Up Gracie and Let's Go Win, because Cut 'em Up Gracie says the radius is increased by 100%. So if any one of the people you hit dies, that counts as an elimination and you get that cooldown reduction. I do want to say though that if you're going for a pure Jagged Blade build, it's not worth it because again, Jagged Blade has such a low cooldown and this is already reducing the cooldown. So I don't know if Let's Go Win's worth it, but if you want it for like a shout build, I can see that as like a possibility. I do want to also mention that there are multiple items that increase your ability power by a ton. If you go Royal Bullets and you were to go Super Flexor and Tinker Tracksuit, now whenever you get a headshot and a melee, or, you know, something like that, right? Or something kind of like Carnage or Rampage or whatever, right? You are between just these two items at 45 ability power. That's so much. So, like, notice how, like, I'm not invested in ability power at all here. I'm gonna land a headshot on a Roadhog or something like that. And then that. That is half of this bot's health. Now, I know that these bots don't have a whole lot of health, but, like, that's just, like, a non-invested Jagged Blade hit. I'm not even going Blade Parade. I'm not going Merciless Magnetism. I am just going for these two guys. So, I thought that was potentially an interesting build to go for. There is a idea for a Rampage bow down build, because this resets all of your ability cooldowns. If you go very aggressive, like this is like the major perk back when it was like broken for that 1 week and it said reset all ability cooldowns. You can go an aggressive like chop chop soaring stone build with thick skull, take a bunch of damage in with damage reduction, shout, use your rampage, and you'll get your shout again. So like let me like kind of show that off. This does take a actually we can technically just go round 2, right? So you do something like this. I don't know if you want to do something with shout, but like you get both of your carnages back. So keep in mind that it's for both cooldowns of chop chop. Like it's kind of heavy. I wonder if like this is my 50%. I wonder if I use both chop chops. If I do like no, it reduces it by 1 of the chop chops. So not as effective as like a bow down build. So just keep that in mind. What I'm actually thinking for a build is Royal Bullets, cut 'em up Gracie with where is ability? Super Flexor and Tinker Tracksuit, and then maybe like Cyber Venom and Liquid Nitrogen, and then like maybe like Mark of Kitsune. I don't know, something like that. You could also go like where is it? Harley Accelerator, right? Because this also has like cooldown reduction, but then it says like whenever you actually let me just like show off this guy for a second, right? So with cut 'em up Gracie, I didn't even use my other abilities. I'm already at the full 3 stack. So Harley Accelerator plus cut 'em up Gracie goes hard. And so if you were to go Royal Bullets, cut 'em up Gracie, Harley Accelerator with Super Flexor, sure, Mark of Kitsune, Tinker, Cyber Venom, and maybe like Liquid Nitrogen, up to you. However you want to do this last one. But like you can definitely get this amount of money by like round 3 and have like another power and stuff. But yeah, this just like does like so much damage. Anyway, feel free to play around with this. I don't know off the top of my head of any other big synergies. You could go like Bow Down, Reckoner's Roar. You could go Bow Down with the... I don't know. I already showed you like the Chop Chop one. I don't know if Let's Go Win is worth it with like how good Bow Down is. If you go a Catalytic Crystal build and just get your ult back to back to back. Actually, that might be like the last one you pick for like this build of like this, and whatever else we decided we wanted to put on, Harley Accelerator or something like that. And then I don't know, like Iridescent Iris is also always really good because it's like a 10% cooldown reduction plus that overhealth plus 20% ability power. Like this is just like this alone is 90 ability power, plus you're getting an additional 15% on top of this, so it's 35. And then you're also I don't have what's it called? Mark of Kitsune. I don't know. Up to you, however you want to do it. I'll have to play around with that as well. But hopefully this helps someone out. Good luck this season, and let's see if Queen gets what do you call it? Hot fixed within the week. So I'm not saying that she's broken. It is Stadium. Everyone's broken, but there's a bunch of like text errors and stuff. So have fun.